When it comes to questions on real estate, who do you call? Agent Sharita. So we're calling for Agent Sharita this morning. Agent Sharita, good morning to you.
Good morning. Here I am.
Ta-da! There she is. Now, I'll talk to my technical director, Roel. We need to have some smoke, pff, there she is. Right, there were all those effects. That's beautiful indeed. I like what we're going to be talking about today because oftentimes we engage in real estate and there are terms that are used and it just goes over our heads and we assume that we understand it. So we pretend, and all the while we can walk ourselves into trouble.
So let's start off at the start of the transaction.
Right.
You should know what a buyer's agent is and what a listing agent is. I am a listing agent. So essentially persons give me their properties to either put on the market for sale or for rent. So that's all I do. I don't really go searching or hunting for you. You come to my online store, so to speak, and you pick up a house from the shelf, pack it in your trolley, and go along about your business. So that is me, the listing agent. And then on the other end of the spectrum, you have buyer's agent. So if you wanted to hunt for something particular, you could go and tell them your preferred specifications, and they would actually look around and try to shortlist some options for you. So that's the difference between the two. And then there's some that do both roles.
Often we think real estate agent, we don't distinguish. We just figure, does the real estate work for me? So if I'm looking for something, call my real estate agent. Not necessarily I'm looking to my real estate agent to see what they have available. So I'm glad you're able to make that distinction for us. There are agents who will go hunting for you, and then there are agents who you can come purchase from because they have what they have. And that's what's most important. Then there's pre-qualification and pre-approval. Two totally different things, even though they have the same prefix.
Correct. And those are two names that persons get a little bit mixed up. So pre-qualification is if you go to your financial institution and you get a sense of what you qualify for based on your current liabilities, debt, income, and so forth. So they may say within a 15-minute meeting after they've looked at your job letter and some other bills and so forth, you know what? You qualify to borrow up to $300,000. And we could probably work out something where you pay back over 30 years, et cetera, et cetera. So it's a very generic guide, but the beauty of it, it helps you to know if you're house hunting, okay, my budget is about $300,000. However, pre-approval is different. Pre-approval now is where we dig up all into your business and find out what you are really eligible to borrow. Because you see, when you came in for that pre-qualification status, you may have hidden the fact that you just bought a car. You may have hidden the fact that your credit card debt is not just the one credit card you told us about, but four, totaling $40,000. So pre-approval now is more of a thorough investigation and digging up into your finances and then confirming based on all that we see as evidence, we are eligible to give you X.
Right. So with pre-approval, you know for sure X is the amount, and we can pre-approve it because we have checked you out, we know what it is, and we are prepared to extend to you credit of X amount. With pre-qualification, all I'm doing is just doing a basic check, look around your numbers and say, okay, given everything that you've said, we think you could very well be qualified for whatever figure that figure would be.
Correct. So, before you go on, Pearson, I want to say this. Pre-qualification is a step that can take a while. So I usually recommend, pre-qualification can take a short time. You go in, you get a sense of what you have within 15, 20 minutes of a meeting. Pre-approval, however, takes longer. So you would find that pre-approved by your financial institution sometimes could take as long as 3 weeks, 4 weeks. And the seller is waiting to sell and move on. So it has helped out some persons who have pursued property before and it didn't work out. At least they had their pre-approval in place so that then when they found something else, they could strike quickly.
Indeed. Then there's the whole question of offer and counter offer. Not every offer is a counter offer, and not every counter offer is necessarily an offer.
All right, so an offer is something, Pearson, you see a house that you want to pursue, it costs $500,000, you have $480,000 in your pocket, you say, let me start playing a game of chess. I'm going to make an offer of 460,000 and act like if that is all I have. The
Yes.
seller, on the other hand, they see their property as worth 500,000, so they may indicate to you by a counter offer that I am not budging much. So they may counter with 495,000. In other words, if you want my house, you need to get your coins up. And that game can go back and forth, one or two times until they either meet in the middle or the purchaser realizes I just can't get up
Yes.
there.
Yes. So that's the difference. One, and then there's a counter offer to it, and then until we come to a conclusion, and then that's the final offer. That's when offer comes back into play.
Offer.
All right, good, got it there. And then there's under offer and under contract.
Correct. So under offer means I have accepted, we've reached an agreement, Pearson, on a figure of 480,000. So we deem that the property is now under offer. But you now have to go and try to get your financing in order. So you run to the bank with your little paper saying, look, she said she would accept my offer of 480,000. Can you hurry up and tell me if you can give me the money? Now, I, as the seller, being sensible and knowing that in these times you may take forever, I have had a clause on that offer letter saying, I am giving you 2 to 3 weeks to come up with the deposit, or at least get to the attorney stage or something like that, so that if you don't, I can pursue this cash buyer to my left who is knocking on my door violently. Under contract now means that as the seller, my attorney has prepared the sale agreement, sent it off to your attorney. Your attorney says everything is fine and requests the 10% deposit from you and tells you to sign here, here, and here. Now we have a signed sale agreement, so the property is under contract and technically totally off the market. Cannot be sold to another person at this stage.
Yes. As is sounds as though, you know what, here it is, you either take it or leave it, as is. Would I be correct in my definition?
That is pretty much it. So you will find that applies to a lot of the properties that are probably slightly under market value, have some fixer-upper status going on. As is means, look, you are seeing it with a big hole in the roof, no electricity on, no tiles, and the foundation looks questionable. Do not ask me as the seller to do anything. If you want this house, I'm already giving it almost at a 40% discount. It is as it is. Now, here's the deal. At the time that the offer is made for the property, that is what is determined as is. That what you saw when you made that offer. Okay? I've had a situation recently where someone made an offer for an as-is property, and then Elsa happened. So when Elsa came now and ripped up the roof, and volcanic ash choked up the swimming pool, that was not the as-is status that it was seen when the offer was accepted. So the possibility is that either you could go back to you could go back to the vendor and renegotiate, or you could say, look, I don't want to pursue this anymore, and you're not penalized. Depending on the stage that it's at.
I got you. Due diligence, do your homework, check it out. Basically, that's what due diligence is, right?
And you're often given a little time period for that. And some persons might come back and say, look, we discovered a whole termite trail on the second floor. And yet again, they can choose to renegotiate or exit the deal. So always do your due diligence. And sometimes you're given a period of time to get that sorted.
All right, we don't have a lot of time to look at closing and closing costs. So very quickly, closing and closing costs.
Closing is the end of the sale when all the documents are signed, the bank is about to release its money, and you are getting your keys. And closing costs pretty much have to do with all that surrounds that. So insurance, land tax, real estate agent fees, anything outstanding tied to the closing up of the sale.
The deal. All right. Agent Sharita, as always, thank you for reporting, ma'am. We're over and out. We catch you again next week. God's be alive indeed.